Alright, so let's kick off with the Blood Ruby Scorpionox decks. He's that Hoagland guy, he's a real giver. Alright, so our champion for our side of the table, for those who are unfamiliar, is Haraza the Incinerator, which for 7 charges creates us a Burning Banner, which gives all of our troops +1 power and speed, so they can attack right away. Opponent's champion, 3 charges, sacrifices a troop and gains some health. Takahiro, pretty standard. His hand seems great. Keep got a couple of Blamsmiths here. Strangle is actually pretty good against the Deathcry deck because the Deathcry gem on Runir Hierophant is what's the word I'm searching for? The Deathcry gem on Runir Hierophant depends on the power or the attack and defense of the Runir Hierophant. So that means Strangle denies them the Abomination, which is really nice for us. We can also kill a Lord Blightbark on turn 2 if we need to here. I hope Sting's not still bugged. I'll be very disappointed in you, Hex, if Sting is still bugged. This deck 4-0'd the Vault, so I'm assuming this card is working as intended. So Sting of the Scorpionox here. Troops constant, so play it stays in play. Troops control a +1 power and can't be blocked by troops with power less than this troops. No blocks here on the Emperor's Lackey because our guy is a 2-3 on their turn because of Gladiator. This fixed a long time ago. God bless. Yay, fixing card bugs. Where's the Hex Lord? No idea, Nick. I don't really get into lore in any of the games that I play. Succubus, sure. I'm gonna play this out. It's a little awkward that we don't have a 3, so like we can't really be resource efficient this turn. I think I'm gonna ship with this because if they want to trade here, I could strangle this in response to the trigger targeting it. Yeah, no trades, makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and play Blamsmith out here. It's possible I'm supposed to leave Strangle up here so that way I can prevent this trigger from going on to something and making a 6/6. When this dies, it gives something else a new Deathcry trigger that makes a Carnal Demon when it dies. Morning time, and catch us right at the start today. I feel like I want to just ship here. This kind of sucks no matter what we do here, Dart there. I'm gonna be putting this wheel back on this car all morning, aren't I? I mean, Sting shipped for 8 seems kind of loose, right? Like, Sting shipped for 8, they just like make a 6/6 and eat my poopers. I think I was supposed to strangle this before I declared attackers to see what they do. I think that's what's supposed to have happened here. So now I'm gonna strangle this before before declare blockers. I should have done this during my main phase. Alright, that could have gone worse. I guess they could trade here. Nope, they're just taking damage. Well, that's actually really good for us. Might be able to steal this. Play us out and pass the turn. Might be able to steal us in the back of Sting. Yeah. I feel like they're supposed to have traded there and then put a trigger on here. And then they could, like, play a troop out. Maybe they got a Grounds Creeper here. If they have Grounds Creeper, we're in trouble. They go Grounds Creeper, sack this, put a thing on here, and then Grounds Creeper, trigger this, make a Carnal Demon, and put another Carnal Demon trigger on here. Yeah, if they have Grounds Creeper here, we're actually going to be in a lot of trouble still. This has Death Cry, add a Death Cry, and Death Cry make a demon now. And they're up to 12. Death's Head Rider. Okay, deal. Jason for us. We gotta sacrifice troops. They must be a... What's it called? They must be a Crusader deck if they're playing this. And I just can't even attack here, right? They just like sack this to the lackey, put the trigger right here, sack this, and yeah, we're just actually just dead. Because they're gonna make 2 demons and then kill us. Alright, the extra hero fall seems great. I'm gonna bring in 2 of these. I'm gonna bring in 2 of these on the off chance that... What's the word I'm searching for? I'm gonna bring in 2 of these on the off chance that they're playing Crusader based on the Death's Head Rider. It's a little awkward otherwise. Nefarious Corruptor actually seems a little medium-bitus. Since they could just sack their stuff. Yeah, actually I'm gonna cut those and leave this Blamsmith in. Try this. If we see Crusaders and Runeers in this game, I'm going to bring in all 4 Gemborns to the last one, but I don't want to bring in all 4 in the dark without having seen a Crusader. That's fair, Tom. That might be more reasonable. Guarantee a 3rd resource on top of our deck here. Evening Squishy. Maybe Trax, you might be able to fit like the Glut of Threes in. The problem with the Crusader version before wasn't even explicitly, it wasn't even explicitly the Lives Guard's Vengeance. It was more the fact that, like, Succubus is kind of powerful, and, like, you can't fit Runeer, Crusader, and a bunch of Succubus into the deck because then it's too many 3s. but like you could just be clunkier with the decks, with the aggressive decks are less efficient. This is almost certainly a Crusader deck, right? Like why else would the Exarch of the Egg be in your deck? Morning Dark Wonders. That's a perfect draw. Some evasive pressure going. Hopefully hit a few more shards here. No wild from our opponent here today. So far. Declan Scott, I'm taking this away from you. The beep beep is broken. I will fix it later. The beep beep is broken. It's sad, I know. Do you want a different show? Where did your mother put the remote? Nobody knows? Nobody knows where your mother put the remote? Yep. Yeah, the stream is 1080, 60 FPS. Robed warp here. Okay. Oh, was I supposed to sting here? It's possible I was supposed to sting with the 4th resource drop. Probably. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. I think I'm just going to pass with removal up here. Pass the removal up here. So Vampire Prince has hit my opponent and revealed Noxious Glory from their hand, so we got to steal that. You just take this hit, right? I think I'd actually rather keep the Vampire Prince. That's tough. Yeah, I really want to hit resource drops at this point. I'm gonna hero fall this lackey out of their hand. Or out of the play. Scorpion X into play here. Smash, so this turns into 3 power here. It gets +2. Yeah. So much life drain, much wow. I am the Scorpion, I pinch. I pinch, I pinch. That hero fall can confirm the hero fall did in fact suck. I want to put resource on top here, right? So I can Speedy Queen next turn. I strangle this. Attack with this. And kiss this next turn. There are Crusaders in their deck. Okay, so that means I am going to... I'm going to bring in another gem board for... Although I guess we haven't seen a reader out of them yet, have we? No, I just want to kill him, Trex. The car is broken, buddy. Alright, Speedy Queen incoming, because we know there's a shard on top of our deck, because God bless Fate Weave. Yeah, but I really don't want to trade my Vampire Prince. This is exactly lethal here, unless they have a cheap shot. Even if they don't have a cheap shot, we're like, even if they do have a cheap shot, we're like gaining a bunch. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna submit like this. I'm gonna bring in a third Prowler. On the off chance they have a Runeer. Oh, Sting makes it unblockable. Derp. Yeah, good call. Yeah, Sting was better. I didn't want him to block, but Sting meant he couldn't block. Good call. I say it's fine. We get to Fate Weave a 4/3 source guaranteed, incur Vampire, Rift Warp, Scorpion X, hopefully hit a second Ruby threshold, and then Champ Power on 4. The Badger has the Charges gem in it, so it's going to give us +4/3 charges when it comes into play, so if we hit our double Ruby threshold on 4, we'll be able to Badger into Champ Power right away and then attack with our Feisty Badger. That's not a ruby. I want to be a little greedy here and cycle this coin, I think. Try and hit that second ruby. Not a ruby. Joe, me, the ruby! Still, how many ruby are in this deck? 9, 10, 11? God, not enough. So, like, I often talk about, like, playing decks without touching them, but I should really start looking at the resource bases. Your chances of having double ruby on 4 in this deck are very low. Gross. Pretty good. The coins return into slow duels. That seems much better. They do have root ears. Good. I'm glad I brought in another one. Alright, let's go ahead and kill this. Play out this Vamp Prince. I mean, like, you don't need to You can have good. Honestly, it's easy to have good mana when you're theory crafting. You just like do some basic math. Trust me when I say that using a hypergeometric distribution really isn't that complicated. Do I even want a Scorpion here? I feel like I want to just hero fall this and then strangle whatever they put the trigger on, right? Yeah. So they don't get a promiscuous succubus trigger. We correct them for 4 here. Hopefully take some stuff and get a resource. They have another commander promptly. Well, that's gonna be a lot of damages next turn, huh? Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 coming across here. Gemborn looking pretty mediocre. Huh. I'm gonna be pretty dead no matter how I slice this, right? Seth Spark, I have a moral dilemma with playing the card Young Seer in a deck. I can't do it. The card is so miserable. Don't Young Seer me, bro. That card sucks. It's so bad. This is a 1/4, I guess. Princess plus Scorp keep like these two at bay. So the problem is like the Emperor's Lackey is just like awful for us again. So like what happens if I attack with the Prince, I go to 7. And then if I'm really lucky, I hit a Shard and go to 9. And then they generate a Dreadlink here. And this attacks for 3. And let's say I block a 3-power guy and a 2-power guy. I'm still taking 1, 2, 5, yeah, 11. Yeah, we're pretty dead no matter how I slice this. The problem is like I'm not going to get life drain on my blockers because my opponent will sacrifice the attackers before they deal damage. Alright, here's Scorpio. Maybe we could try this. I guess I could throw the Princess in front of the Emperor's Lackey, and then that gains me 2 life guaranteed. So that's not the worst. Just 6 resources and still no second ruby. So if I put this here, and I put this here, I'm going to take 5, 10, 12, and I'm going to 11. So it's just like sucks no matter how I cut it. This has to block here, this blocks here. Yeah, I guess I should have played the Riftport Badger. I didn't actually count before I put these into play. I just assumed chump blocking here was going to let me live, and it doesn't. I think we're pretty fucked no matter how we cut it, so like, I think it really matters. Oh yeah, we can't even, it doesn't matter what we did. Alright, we're gonna fix the resource in this deck a little bit, but I don't know how much ladder rank I'm gonna spew on it. These for duels sounds great. That's 4, 8. That's even worse than I thought, right? This is 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Guys only had 9 ruby. Ugh. I don't know if I could play another game with this. The resource base of this deck is so bad. It's like when I was watching, so Yana was streaming last night with Haraza Vampires, and it's like, the Vampires on Haraza are great, but like, I don't think you can play Bride of the Damned in that deck. It's 11 once I add the Shard of Hatred. Or 13 once I had the Shard of Hatred. It was 11, which is just like super miserable. Super miserable. Like, what's the Hyper Geo say? The Hyper Geo says, with 13, hey, LX127 with the brand new $4.99 subscription. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Welcome. So by turn 4, I've seen 10 cards. I need 2 ruby in there. With 13 ruby, I am 70% to have it turn 4. At turn 7 is plus 3 cards. And I'm 85% to have it turn 7. So I'm just like 16%, or sorry, 84% to have it by turn 7. So it's just like 16%, like 1 in like 6 games. I'm just like not going to be able to activate my 7 charge champion power on 7. Like, that seems really bad, right? We'll try one more game and see how it feels, just to like get a couple games for the video set, but this deck does not seem terribly consistent. Just on a numbers basis. You've got some emojis there. Alright, sleeves on a battle board. Ice kind of improves the odds. It's like super minor. Even if like we decided very generous, like 6% from having 6 ice, which is way too much. You are still like 1 in 10 to miss. But like, how much blood's in this deck? So right now, this deck has 6, 10, 17 blood. 17 blood is like the floor on how much blood you can play if you're trying to cast blood cards on 3 consistently. It's the absolute bottom. You want at least 17 sources if you're trying to cast a double threshold card on 3. What's my friend the Hyper Geo say? My friend the Hyper Geo says, with 17 sources, turn 3 on the play. If you want double thresholds and you have 17, you're going to be 79.5% to hit it with 17. So if you go lower than that, I accidentally hit the sub button for a 3rd time. Shame on me. Welcome back, Captain, obviously. I appreciate the continued Twitch Prime support. I'll be right back. I need to change a diaper. Yeah, how do you get to four ruby ice? That doesn't seem. I mean, like, and again, like, making it work is a loose definition, right? Like, I'm sure you could win games with what we have here. It's just, is it going to be consistent? No, probably not. Oh, you want your shorts back on? You know, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you can't subscribe on the iOS app because Apple wants a cut of any amount of money you take through their application. Alright, so what we got going on here? What is Lime Killers? We got a victim, I mean an opponent. So Lime Killer, you have 11, 13. You went down to 15 blood. 15 blood. Let's see what my good friend, the Hypergeo, says about your 15 blood. 15 blood says that in 28% of your games, you are not going to be able to cast... Oh, geez, you still have Vampire Princes in here? Holy crap. This deck is really bad at casting Vampire Prince on 2. You are 65% to have blood on turn 2 with 15 blood sources. That's miserable. I would argue unplayable. So you added consistency to your champ power by making the rest of your deck wildly inconsistent. And for those that are wondering the calculation that I'm doing to figure out approximately what you're doing, this is how you calculate your odds of having resources. And like ice fudges it a little bit, but not a ton. Ice pushes the needle slightly, but not a bunch. Alright, Papa Goot. We don't have a lot of good ways to interact with constants in this deck. Speaking of Papa Goot, someone earlier, and I think I missed their comment, asked me what I thought of a more controlling Papa Goot deck. We actually, early last season, we played a more controlling constants deck. Only we didn't play Papa Goot, we played Malice, right? So we played Bloodspinner Zorath, so you could play the Bloodspinner Zorath constant plus Zentos Malice alongside Twilight Eclipse. Please don't have the Reverend. Please don't have the Reverend. Please don't have the Reverend. Please? Pretty please? Pretty please? Dear buddy! With the $9.99 a month subscription. That's exceedingly generous. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Welcome. Alright. Do you have a Reverend? No Reverend means the sting of the Scorpionix is just gonna... Oh, baby. Maybe I should have waited on that. Am I stinging or am I double vamp printing here? I feel like... Am I playing around... Is it double prints? Am I playing around Massacre is the question. I feel like I'm not playing around Massacre game 1 out of Goot. Goot tends to be a little bit more aggressive. So if they have Massacre in the 75, I doubt it's in the main deck. But the format's also changing too, so it's hard to say for sure. I think Trax is right that the optimal play is just double prints here, but we'll see. I should have waited to play my resource if I was taking this line, because if my prince hits a resource, I could have drained them for 3 with it. They have a Twilight Eclipse. Alright. You know what races Twilight Eclipse nicely? A bunch of vampires. So my opponent's going to gain 1 up to 12 next turn, and then actually, yeah, this is just like a clean 12 on the board with the Sting. So if they play the Twilight here, they are just dead because of the Sting. It's like plus good clean living here. Get my vamps up to 12. Crunch. Rawr. Triggers. All right, sweet. I think it's just Withering Gaze is the only thing we really have here, right? I don't think Cockatrice is very good. It's kind of slow and clunky. I might trim these hero falls. No, that's not true. Is it? No, I want to be able to kill. I want to be able to kill the 5/5, right? Okay, trim Nefarious Corruptor. That doesn't seem unreasonable. This leaves me 5 ways to kill Twilight Archon. Think so? I like that the Sting is like surprise damage. I don't think I really want more than 5 pieces of removal. I'm gonna try this. There's like this awkward tension when you're playing against the aggressive Goot where like you want you need some removal, but like at the same time, like when they don't have one of their troops draws, you like feel awkward having all this removal in your deck. Oh, I like double damage on Corruptor. They don't play a ton of removal. It seems fine. Get to go Ice for a non-resource, into Ruby Bloodsworn, into Slow Shard Prince, into Ruby Sting. It's like we got a really nice curve here, regardless of what we draw. Now I can just play Prince on 2. Probably we'll just play Prince on 2 with that option, just like get that life trade going ASAP. The Vesper is a 1/1 for 1, that whenever a constant enters play under my opponent's control, it gets +1/+1 permanently. So it allows them to have a pretty aggressive start, because like their champion power summons a Daybreak, which is a constant. They have like the Nightfalls in their deck as well that we saw last game, so I think it's pretty large pretty quickly. Radiant Physician. This gets bigger every time you play a constant, so important small distinction here between Radiant Physician and Vesper is that play means that I think I'm just gonna play the Bloodsword actually so it can play some defense. Play doesn't include their champion power. So I think if we get the option, I'll trade with the Radiant Physician this turn, just because like this card says, in addition to getting bigger when they play a constant at the start of their turn, if they control 3 or more constants with different names, they draw a card and gain 3 life. So like Burning Ire, Blinding Ire. I actually think this is one of the more powerful cards in the current constructed format. I think the mono Blood Zorath deck is very good. I think the Goot deck is very reasonable. Like, this card is great against both of those. What cards what standard decks I'm interested in playing in Magic? We're actually going to have an article going up on gatheringmagic.com on whatever day my articles go up, Friday morning, so 2 days from now, talking about the decks I'm interested in this current standard format. I feel like we're pretty far behind here. Yeah, we're pretty dead. So they've got 10 power in play there, and they're gonna start drawing 2 cards and getting life of return. I like the idea of double damage on these, and that's one of the things that, like, definitely a layer of complexity inside of Hex that I love. It's that the fact that you could swap your gems in between games to like slightly pivot your threats to be better in particular positions is fantastic. My gut says no, Spurt. My gut says this is... Okay, rephrase. My gut says the base of non-resources in this deck is very powerful, but the threshold requirements are awful. I don't think the resource base that exists could support what you're looking to do in terms of threshold requirements consistently. I mean, I don't know about strictly better than Magic. Like, so like, you want to ask yourself, if you're asking out strictly better, you want to say, does Hex do anything that Magic doesn't, does Magic do anything that Hex doesn't do? And like, Magic lets you die on turn 2 and turn 3 in Modern without ever having a chance to play a game. And Hex is terrible. I have to like actually play a game of Hex almost every time when I play Hex, because like, between champions, I get to make educated mulliganing decisions. Between Fate Weave, it's hard to stumble and die. So like, you know, it's tough. It's tough having to actually play TCG games to win. So I went ahead and I Fate Weaved a non-resource to the top of my deck here, because I can get a 4th resource with this if we need it. No, it's got deals double damage. That's weird. It wasn't showing the gem in my hand there for a second. Kinda, Stu. It's more trying to cast like 2 different double colored cards, which is harder in Hex. And this is honestly, the fact that the fixing in Hex is worse is one of the reasons why the game feels a lot more balanced a lot of the time. Because in Magic, when the fixing is fantastic, everyone just gets to play like all the best cards a lot of the time. And in Hex, you have to really make distinctions and some concessions. So like, I'm playing these powerful cards, so I can't play these powerful cards because the fixing isn't good enough. I think I'm just playing this out as a 3-2 deals double damage. So this thing, when it comes into play, it gets a trigger that says an opposing troop deals 2 damage to them every turn, but I think I just want a guy that attacks for 6 in play here. Honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if they're pretty happy with their fixing as is. Like I said, I think having less fixing overall is good for the game. Yeah, like those cards are fantastic examples of like, obviously they know what they're doing, and like they're causing things to be pushed in a direction that they want. Like these encourage you to play mono shard things as opposed to multi-shard things. The wells don't rotate until set 10. They were in Hero Fall. The wells rotate with set 10. We will lose the racial shard, so we'll lose cobblestones, and that's another blinding ire. Tilt. Why don't you like the wells? The wells are great. No, and actually, you could see here where the blinding ires came from, because like if you mouse over a card, like I mouse over this Daybreak, you see the faint line that gets drawn there to my opponent's champion power. When my opponent plays whatever constant they got from the Daybreak Diviner, they'll be able to draw a line to it. We're probably just dead here. The problem with printing wells at uncommon is that they are actually too good and limited. So like the slow resources, you could like put them at uncommon, and like you're not going to play all of them at every limited deck because they're slow shards, right? Super dead. All right, well, we're all right. Thoughts and opinions on this Blood Ruby deck that 4-0'd the Arcana Vault. Resource base is pretty clunky and inconsistent. And then the secondary is that I feel like this is doing very similar things to the Mono Blood deck that we played yesterday, while still having very similar problems. It's miserable against Goot. You just can't take Twilight Eclipses off the table. So, yeah, I think I would put this in the would not play again, not interested in touching pile. Like, the powerful things that this deck is doing are like the vampires and like the Zorath deck is doing that too, while also doing other powerful things and being more consistent.